I know, I told him that already.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some big names are set to attend, like Mohammed bin Jassim Al Thani, the Prime Minister of Qatar, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, Ivanka Trump, daughter of Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta.
The groom is the son of India's richest man, and the pre-wedding celebrations have already included private performances from Rihanna, Justin Bieber, and the Backstreet Boys.
You know that Mukesh Ambani is the richest man in India. But do you know why exactly is he so rich?
Mukesh Ambani, who transformed his Reliance Industries into a diversified conglomerate, reclaimed the #1 spot with a net worth of $92 billion.
Where does he get all this money from? You probably know that his wealth is tied to his company Reliance Industries. But how big is this company? Reliance Industries is the company with the highest revenue and market capitalization of any company in India. And it is the second most profitable company in India, only behind SBI. Do you know how exactly all of this money and profit is generated? See, many people think that it is because of Reliance Jio, the largest telecom operator in India that is also owned by Mukesh Ambani, while others think that it is because of Reliance Retail and its Smart Bazaar outlets. But all of them are wrong. Reliance Telecom business is not the majority contributor to their total profits, and Reliance Retail is even smaller. In fact, Reliance Jio was launched in 2016 and it did not generate any profit for the next 2 years. And before launching, it required an investment of $22 billion, an investment of 1,50,000 crore rupees with no return for 2 years. So where did Mukesh Ambani get all this money from? Well, the source is an unlimited pit of money. A pit of money so deep that you could not spend all of it even if you spend your entire lifetime. It is a cash cow that the Ambanis established decades ago, which he, his children, and probably the next several generations to come will continue to milk. And it is not in sectors like entertainment or sports or retail. It is one of the most boring businesses that you could ever work in. And that ultimate source of Ambani's wealth is the Jamnagar Refinery. It is a crude oil refinery that turns crude oil into petrol that you can use along with several other products. But it is not any crude oil refinery. It is the largest refinery in the world with technology so superior that no other country or company can match it. And the oil to chemical segment of Reliance Industries generates a revenue of 68 crore rupees per hour. So when was this refinery established and who built it? How did an Indian manage to build the biggest crude oil refinery in the world? And why exactly did the Ambanis get into the refinery business in the first place? In this video, you are going to find the answer to these questions and understand what is the real source of Ambani's wealth. We will deep dive into the psychology of Mukesh Ambani and find out how he managed to become the richest man in the country. So let's begin by understanding what exactly is a crude oil refinery. See, any of the petroleum products that we use, like petrol or diesel, are not extracted from earth ready to be used. What we get from extraction is crude oil, which needs to be refined. A crude oil refinery like the one in Jamnagar takes this crude oil, refines it, and generates the final usable products. So crude oil is used to extract products like petrol, diesel, jet fuel, LPG, kerosene, petrochemicals, and even petroleum jellies like Vaseline. And the Jamnagar Refinery is the biggest oil refinery in the world. Not only does it hold the record for being the biggest refinery in the world for a quarter of a century, but it is also the most profitable refinery in the world. And thanks to its sheer size and scale, it is the biggest source of Mukesh Ambani's wealth today. In 2023, Reliance Industries had a total profit after tax of over 73,000 crore rupees. If you look at the EBITDA contribution, oil and gas exploration had a contribution of 9.1%. This segment basically means finding and extracting the crude oil which can later be refined. Reliance Retail contributed 12%. This segment includes Reliance Fresh, Smart Bazaar, Ajio, Netmates, and others. And digital services contributed to 33.6%. This includes Jio Telecom, Jio Cinema, Jio Fiber, and basically everything Jio except JioMart. The largest contribution was actually made by O2C, or the oil to chemicals refining business, which contributed 41.5%. You also have to understand here that digital services and Reliance Retail were recent bets made by Mukesh Ambani. They have started paying off in the form of profits only a few years ago. The refinery business was what gave him the capital money to play all these bets. A great example of this was the $22 billion needed to establish Jio Telecom in 2016. If Mukesh Ambani did not have the money from the refinery business coming in back then, how do you think would he have been able to finance the expansion to all these sectors? But why did the Ambanis get into this oil refining business in the first place? You see, unlike Gautam Adani, Mukesh Ambani and Anil Ambani are not first generation billionaires. The foundation for Reliance was actually laid by the OG, Dhirubhai Ambani. Dhirubhai initially started as a small-time trader of textile yarns in the late 1960s, and in 1975, he launched Vimal, a clothing brand that quickly became popular for its high-quality fabric. But Dhirubhai was not satisfied. He found that a chunk of profit was actually going to their suppliers who provided them the yarn for clothes, and he did not want to share. So he started manufacturing polyester yarn. Although he had no formal business education, what he was doing was backward integration, where you manufacture the raw materials yourself to improve your profit margins. By the late 1980s, he had already become the richest man in India. But then, he found out that manufacturing polyester yarn needed polymers and petrochemicals. So in 1996, Reliance commissioned its integrated petrochemical complex in Hazira, Gujarat, which turned him into one of the biggest petrochemical players in India at that time. But he was still not satisfied. Petrochemicals are obtained by refining crude oil, and he wanted to own that part of the process as well. So in 1999, Dhirubhai Ambani envisioned the creation of the largest oil refinery in the world, the Jamnagar Refinery. And the execution was conducted by the elder son of Dhirubhai, Mukesh Ambani. Now, why it was Mukesh and not Anil is a story of its own which I will uncover in the next video. But the fact remains that it was Mukesh Ambani who undertook the execution of this mega project. And this was where the incredible foresight and business acumen of Ambanis came into play. You see, the Ambani philosophy of doing business has really never changed. When Dhirubhai Ambani did textiles, he ensured that he dominated. Vimal was the largest textile brand at its peak. Then the same happened with petrochemicals. The Hazira plant in Gujarat was one of the most sophisticated ones of its time. And Mukesh Ambani has continued that pattern. He literally eliminated all competition from the market with Jio in the telecom sector, did the same thing in the retail sector with the forced acquisition of Big Bazaar, and recently did it again by the virtually forced merger with Disney Hotstar in India. He makes a company so big that it becomes impossible for anyone else to even survive, let alone compete with him. And he did the same thing with the Jamnagar Refinery as well. It was envisioned as the absolute leader in the industry right from the beginning. It was not just an ordinary refining plant, it was a fully integrated manufacturing facility with its own residential housing for 2,500 employees, its own electricity power generation complex, a dedicated shipping port, its own water treatment plant, and even its own airport terminal. It is built on an area of over 7,500 crores or 30 square kilometers. The much publicized pre-wedding celebration of Anant Ambani in March 2024 was hosted in the Jamnagar complex itself. That is how enormous and sufficient it is. The total investment to build this enormous refinery was 25,000 crores or $6 billion. And it was built in just 3 years at just about 50% of the typical costs of other similar refineries. More than 75,000 workers worked round the clock for months to complete it in record time. But even after being built so quickly, the Jamnagar refinery is a technological marvel. The complexity index or CI of a refining plant indicates its ability to process different qualities of crude oil into high value products. The higher the index, the more advanced a refinery is. And the Jamnagar refinery has the highest CI in the world at 21.1. The next best is Motiva refinery in the USA at 14.3, and almost all other major refineries have a CI of around 11. So while other refineries can only process crude oil above a certain level of purity, the Jamnagar refinery can take on garbage crude oil and process it easily. It is able to process more than 170 different types of crude oil without any difficulties. While typical refineries have a waste generation of 5%, the Jamnagar Refinery waste generation is just about 0.2%. It is consistently ranked number 1 for low operation and manpower costs in the world. And by sailing such a tight ship, the Jamnagar Refinery profits are higher than any other refinery in the world. So because of its gigantic scale, low cost, high-tech abilities to process any type of oil and high profit margins, it is the ultimate cash cow for Mukesh Ambani. In 2023, the oil refining business generated a revenue of 5,95,000 crores. That is 1600 crores per day or 68 crore rupees every single hour. Since you started watching this video, Mukesh Ambani generated over 10 crore rupees from this business. Let that sink in for a moment. But as I said, the true magnificence of Ambani's business acumen lies in his foresight. Right now, he is still planning 10 years into the future. With the rise of EVs and green energy, he knows that petrol and diesel are going to become obsolete in the coming years. So he is now investing in those sectors. Reliance has already started converting the Jamnagar refinery from a leading producer of fuels to a leading producer of chemicals. The goal is to convert more than 70% of crude oil refined in Jamnagar into petrochemicals. And when this oil to chemical transition is complete, the Jamnagar refinery will produce only jet fuel and petrochemicals. It has already announced plans to invest 75,000 crores or $9.4 billion over 5 years to boost its petrochemical output. In 2021, it also announced another $10 billion for a green energy project to build 4 gigafactories in Jamnagar, which will produce solar cells, batteries, and green hydrogen. So even today, this man is thinking 10, 20, 30 years into the future and what will be relevant then. And this is exactly why Mukesh Ambani was rich 25 years ago. He is rich today and he will likely be rich 25 years from now. The strategy being adopted today is the same that was adopted 25 years ago. Complete and utter domination of an industry that results in a monopolization. So competition cannot even exist. The only thing that led to the downfall of the Reliance empire about 25 years ago was the feud between the 2 Ambani brothers after their father passed away. And now, potentially another family feud could be in the making with 3 Ambani heirs in line for succession. But Mukesh Ambani is doing everything in his capability to avoid that feud with a mega succession plan that could birth the next potential billionaires of India. I will bring out a video soon detailing the planned succession of the Mukesh Ambani empire. So make sure you don't miss it by subscribing here. Follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The link is in the description below. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.